Beauties, hope you're doing fabulous. Today we're duping Team Jacob palette from GlamLite. If you want to see me swatch every shade and tell you what shade I'm using, give a thumbs up and let's go. Okay friends, as always, we're going to swatch left to right, top to bottom. I have some extra shades for you. We're going to swatch everything and I'm going to tell you what shade I'm using. Let's get started. For the first shade in the top row, we have two options. First one is a splash from Looxi Beauty. I love you, Looxi, come back. Or if you don't want to use that and you want to do something even funkier and lighter, you can use the Nerds from Devinah. Y'all, I've already used this palette in a look, actually two looks. I will tag them in the description below if they're available. You can see in the swatches that Splash is deeper than Nerds. It also has a mint green shade throughout, and Nerds looks more like an iridescent multichrome. Here are both of the shades from a different angle. You should be able to very visibly see the gold shift of Nerds. You can't really go wrong with either of these shades, only that Splash is deeper than Nerds. I believe I put Nerds in the inner corner in one of my looks because Splash was just too deep for that application. I end up using a lot of Looxi shades, like this next one, which is Forever, also from Looxi. Forever is a gorgeous bubblegum pink matte. So for this next one, I also have two options. The first one is 79 from Looxi. Again, most of my first options are either from Looxi or Sydney Grace because I'm trying to use simple shades. And if you don't want to use that, I have a 207 from Bernovich. 207 in comparison to 79 is a mild inner corner type or brow bone type shade. As you can see, it has a beautiful, very mild tone, peachy gold going to a very cool toned pink, whereas 79 is a cool tone metallic gold that's so cool toned it almost could even pass as a silver, but it definitely has a hint of yellow. Reminds me of Terra Moon's Cesium, which I've also swatched in another video where I dupe Route 66 palette from Nomad. For this next shade, I chose Regal from Sydney Grace. A shade we've seen in a lot of my past swatch videos is a gorgeous lavender purple matte. Again, beauties, matte swatches can get a little patchy and they might not be entirely representative. Part of the reason is because you're probably going to use this on a primer, whereas all of my swatches are done on bare hands. This next shade is the most complex Looxi shade that I've used to dupe this palette. This one is Cattypillar, which I believe was actually a Looxi favorite. You can see the gorgeous orange coral base with the shift of cool toned, kind of white to blue going into a gold. This is a pretty flaky shade. I kind of feel bad telling you how to use it because a lot of you, if you don't have it already, at the moment with Looxi not being in business, you're unable to get your hands on it. Looxi, where are you? Come back. But I thought a lot of you might have this, or you might have other alternatives for this shade. This is a beautiful shade. There are a lot of Clionadhs that can replace this one. You can look at some of their glitter vibrant ones. For our next dupe, I chose Mint Green from Sydney Grace. Interestingly, this one is actually not as minty. This is like a teal base with a white overtone. This is actually a pretty unique shimmer shade. Continuing with Sydney Grace, this one is Timber. Again, everything is going to be Sydney or Looxi. And Timber is a gorgeous, very beautiful, sort of a foresty green shimmer shade. It has a tiny hint of teal. Again, beauties, teal is when you add a tad bit of blue to green. And this one also kind of looks like it has more of a black base or a deep based undertone. Since most of my Looxi beauty shades are pretty complex, and I try to keep the shades I use to dupe to simple shades. This next one is also from Sydney Grace. This is Eclipse. You've seen Eclipse also in my Dupe of Beauty Below palette from Blend Bunny. This is a beautiful, very rich, deep, shimmery brown. We have two options for this next one, both from Looxi. Both are kind of complicated, but the first one is less so. This one is Cotton Candy, and the second one is Cosmos. This one is just insane. Cotton Candy is a simple shimmery pink with a bluish shift, whereas Cosmo is kind of multichromy and is very glittery looking with tiny blue glitters throughout. Also, you should be able to see the shifts of gold to pink. It's very, very gorgeous, and I think you can't go wrong with either of these shades in this next spot. And all of those tiny sparkly particles gives it a holographic look. This is one of those shades that any other brand would have sold for way more than what Looxi put it up for, which was $3, beauties. Looxi, wherever you are, we want you back. Please come back. Red Start from Sydney Grace is my pick for this next shade. A beautiful light-toned yellow to orange matte. I kept saying I only use Sydney or Looxi, but this next one is actually Chlorophyll from Copacetic. Chlorophyll is a gorgeous forest green. If you see tiny sparkles, they're not part of this shade. They're remnants of past swatches. This is a pure matte forest green shade, and it's very beautiful. This next one is Peanut Butter, also from Looxi, which is a beautiful peanut butter shade matte. Kind of gets me hungry. For this next shade, depending on what you're looking for, you can go with Dusk from Sydney Grace, which is a gray toned matte, or Patrina from Devinah, which has a hint of plum. Again, friends, don't get too alarmed if there is some patchiness. Just because they show up patchy in swatches doesn't mean they're going to show up patchy on your eyes. For our next dupe, I chose Beyond from Sydney Grace. Beyond is a beautiful reddish brown matte. It's a very rich shade. Now this one, which is our last dupe, is a Colosseum. Also from Sydney Grace, you can see the gorgeous patches of pink in this pan, which actually show up in the swatch and add a cool hue to this shade. This is a beautiful shimmer with a lot of complex shifts and a hue of pink. Some of you who've been following me know that I'm not a huge fan of matte black, which is the shade that's in the palette. So instead I picked a shade that I thought went well in this spot. Friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget a thumbs up. Write to me in the comments below if you want me to dupe any other palette. Also, if you're enjoying these duping videos, don't forget to check out my duping playlist recommended on the screen. I love you all. Have an awesome day and awesome week. And until next time, bye.